Good day, everybody. I'll say good day. Thank you so much for joining us and listening to this conversation between Ms. Manisha Bhatti and I. I am Lisa Kome, and this is a conversation on the art of mentoring on behalf of Women Finance and Investment Network, WIFIN. I am your host for today. I'm the country representative of Women in Finance Network in Botswana. I'm responsible for the strategic leadership direction of the network in Botswana. I hold a Bachelor of Commerce and degree in Banking and Finance from Curtin University. This lovely lady here joining me today, as I've mentioned before, is Ms. Manisha Bhatti. Manisha and her firm, Dream Heart India, are proud recipients of multiple awards, including Best Training Institute and Best Educational Institute by MCME India. Having addressed more than 20,000 people, including universities and companies like Ajtak Media House, MICA, Hero Technologies, D.Y. Patel College, Symbiosis International University, Singad Institute of Management, she's your best bet when it comes to learning things with great impact. Her strong passion in human potential building and intense communication expertise has led her to co-found an institute dedicated to training and development known as Dream Heart India. Good day, Ms. Manisha Bhatti. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Most welcome. I'm
you.
Eagerly excited to be a part of this session.
Yes, we are so welcome and we're ready to hear about the art of mentoring from you. Just to open up the conversation and just to start before we get into the actual mentoring, I think we'd love to hear a little bit more about you. So what pushed you to become who you are today, and what could you say inspired your journey?
To start with, I was an absolutely bubbly and jolly girl out there who didn't know exactly what dreams are, what I want to become in life. This I'm talking about, which is in my early, after my 10 years, when I was 10 years old. And after that, I was just normal, like an ordinary person out there who is just good at eating, troubling people out there, having fun, and not that very much ambitious, I can say, not that very much studious as well. I was an average student when it comes to academics as well. But then after that, as and when my SSC, my 10th standard was over, I started becoming a bit concerned about, I want to get into a bank. Like this is something which is very safe for me. This is very, my parents, moreover, my society and parents is going to accept if I start working in a bank. So the first thing is that my environment. Let me talk about my environment, the environment that I've born and brought up in. It was a joint family, and there was a lot of fear that was inbuilt in me. There was a lot of approvals that I had to take, even if I have to take certain decisions in my life, or even if I have to buy clothes, or I have to eat something from outside today, or I have to go out with my parents or with my friends. There was a lot of restrictions, and that is where my environment had molded me to an extent where it was very difficult for me to survive. It was till that level, because the society, the relatives out there, everybody out there, they try to control you, they try to own you, they try to always tell you that, what, this is not the way, that is the way, what, if you do this, what people are going to talk about you, what, you are a female, like, no, it's not good for you and all that. So there were various things, like initially I had to obey and follow that, moreover. And then after that, once I completed my HSC, that is 12th standard, I started becoming more serious this time. They're like more than 50% serious that, what, I really want to get into a bank. And after my 11th and 12th special subject of banking, I made sure that I complete my graduation. And just, there was a twist in my life in between. At the age of 18, I was pressurized, and I was, convinced to an extent where I had to agree to get married. So that is where the society.
How do you think that impacted the rest of the trajectory of your life?
Sure, I'm coming to that definitely. So as soon as I had to agree, and in spite of crying, in spite of convincing, or explaining, begging literally to the society, to my parents out there, that what, I don't want to have a life that my sisters or my siblings are already having, because I'm an educated girl out there, and I want to see the world. I want to explore. I want to do something on my own. And that is what I aspire for, because just taking a degree in my hand just completing my graduation, that I can read and write, I don't think that is enough to be an independent person out there. I need to get out from my house. I need to explore things. I need to meet people out there. So that is where I started convincing. And moreover, it was, my life was being moved as per people, not as per what I want to do. And they got me married, and then within 5 months, there was a mental torture. They were absolutely abusive environment that I was staying in, and because of which I was absolutely into depression. And there were various thoughts that were revolving in my mind that, you know what, this is not what I deserve. And they were trying to stop my education. When I was 18 years old, I was in my first year BCom, Bachelor's of Communication in Banking and Finance, and it was my dream that even if I become a housemaker, I have to make sure that I have a degree in my hand, because life is absolutely unpredictable. And this is what I have taken my degree for, because I want to stand on my feet and I want to be an independent person out there. They tried to pressurize me. They tried to snatch all the belongings that my father had gifted me during my wedding. And after that, I just moved out from that house within 5 months, just taking care of myself, moreover, and without any belongings with me. Slowly and gradually, what happened is that after a few months, I decided that, you know what, that's it. I don't want this family at all, and I need to continue my education. Simultaneously, fortunately I got a degree as well of graduation, my bachelor's. And then I was in a very, very sad phase of my life, which was nearly of 3 years. I was into a legal issue that I was stuck in, because I was fighting for my rights. I was fighting for my life. I was fighting for what wrong has happened with me, so that if someone has tried to ruin my life today, they shouldn't do the same thing with any other girl tomorrow. So that is where I tried to fight for my right. And after a 3 year struggle and hard work, I fought for the same and I won the case. I made sure that my belongings are back with me, because my dad was already 65 and I was very sure that he won't be able to, again, help me out financially to that extent. And that is where, being an obedient daughter, I can say, I made sure that I was not dependent on my father. And moreover, I used to be happy in front of him after I won the case. But then, there was still something emptiness in my life, that I was like, okay, I've earned my right, but after that, what's next? So the phase that was after 18 years, it was an absolutely depressing phase until 21. So like 3 to 4 years, it was absolutely depressing. And I used to feel so bad for myself, that why are these things not stopping? Why I am not able, why there is no one to help me out, moreover? Why am I not getting a mentor in my life? And what exactly mentor is that? Honestly, I didn't know. But yes, I wanted someone who is helpful. I wanted someone who's listening to what I have to say. But unfortunately, there weren't enough people around me, or not even a single person. But yes, I was blessed that at least I had an opportunity to stay with my parents, and they had absolutely accepted me, and they were equally depressed. And unfortunately, my father had gone into depression, and it was very difficult for us to take him out. And the society, the relatives out there, everybody was like, it's just because of you, and they try to blame me. Again, after all these struggles, after all these blame game and everything, there were various thoughts that revolved. I'm sharing this story because I want the viewers to understand that it is not just you alone who is going through some or the other journey in your life. I understand my story is different, your story is different, and I want to share this because I want you to be alert that, if I can do it, if I can reach to a level today where internationally I am recognized, I have given my 100%, I've made sure that in spite of what people talk, I'm going to follow my path. I am going to believe in the gut feeling that I have. I have always done that. And that is where, of course, the struggles are till date there. But I think I have accepted them. And moreover, I have, started accepting it in a way that this is a kind of a game now. It's not something which is new to me. It's a kind of a game that, okay, what is that obstacle that is come in front of me? And how do I have to overcome it? And moreover, win it. And at times I lose. I fail miserably. Even today, I fail miserably. Just because again and again, every time we have back to back achieved things, and at certain point of time, you are going to fail. That doesn't mean that you are a failure in life. The failures that have taught me in life is something that my achievements have never taught me. So I've always, made sure that even if I have a bad day, bad night, bad moment of the life, I get up again, I cry, I get up again, and I make sure that I take some action, something, some action, some decision, so that the path starts getting clear. So that is where I think not only females, but there are people in general, I'm talking, that are absolutely confused. Where is their life going? And there are so many failures that they're facing. And believe me, guys, that is a part and parcel. And accept failures, laugh at failing, accept failures, because it's an absolutely fun. Even if you give your 100%, you try to be absolutely alert in whatever decisions you take. You try to be absolutely secure that, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. And if I do this, I'll be safe, I'll be secure. There are chances that you are, in spite of all these thoughts, you are again going to fail. And it's absolutely fine, because the control is not in your hand. How you respond is what is in your hand. And that is
That's
what I've
true.
always believed. And there are still phases in my life which are disturbing, which are, challenging to a great extent. But I'm very sure, I'm very confident that every day I'm becoming stronger. I am becoming stronger. And every day my challenges are becoming huge and high and very
Yes.
tough. But then simultaneously, when I'm becoming strong, just because I am taking action, just because I'm taking that stand for myself, and I'm accepting things the way they are coming, I'm accepting challenges the way they are coming. So coming back to my story is when I won that case, I completed my graduation. I made sure that I was fighting the case. I was completing my post graduation. I was working in Deutsche Bank, one of the topmost investment banks in the world.
In the
It's a
world.
German bank, and I got this opportunity, and I worked over there as a financial analyst for 2 years. But then again, working for 12 to 14 hours a day, I realized that, you know what, the decision that I had taken to work in a bank was as per the norms of the society, or as per the norms of the
Yes.
relatives. What
Very true.
is safe for me. So that was the mindset which I eventually realized, that it was not something that I was really craving for, but this is something that it was as per someone's approval out there, that, you know what, people will accept me if I work into a bank. And that is what I wanted to break this myth into that we have actually curated and developed in the mind of people, that, you know what, this is not we live life. I think we should moreover ask ourselves, have a gut feeling that what exactly I'm good at, okay, and what I want to do. It's not that just because I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I am some people are there dependent on me, I have to take my decisions as per them. I think you should moreover take decisions as per what you are good at, and what contribution can you do to the society.
Yes.
So that is what I believed in. And I had to actually move out from my so-called dream job, and I had to start something on my own. And that is where I met my partner as well, Sridhar. He's a business partner, wherein we together framed out as to what we have to do. And there were certain things which we had actually blindly taken actions towards, and let's just give it a bang and start with our own institute. But then initially it was more over into corporate training, soft skills and all that. But then I realized in between that I think the story, the journey that I'm going through, there are lakhs and crores of females that are going through. And there are so many dreams which are being crushed just because someone else's approval. Disapproval, I can say moreover, because someone didn't approve. My husband didn't approve. My mother didn't approve. My parents out there, they were like very uncomfortable. Who's going to get married to you? You're working into a corporate, you are an entrepreneur out there. People will assume that, you know what, you're too extraordinary, you're too smart out there. Nobody would like to accept you out there. So there were various things that people were throwing back on me. But one thing I did for sure, that, you know what, whatever you say is not going to matter me anymore, because till
That's
date,
very true.
my life was as per you. And now my life is going to be as per me. And it's absolutely fine if I fail, because I'm going to fail because of my decisions, because of myself. But I don't want to fail because of your decisions or yours or your approval. Or I don't want to crush my dreams just because of your disapproval. And believe me, the more actions I took, the more people realized that, you know what, she's unstoppable. And that is where we have designed programs wherein we want females to be absolutely unstoppable. And when it comes to mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially independent, they have to work towards it. it is just not fair if we start giving reasons that, you know what, my husband is not keeping well, or he earns enough, I don't need to earn as such, or my parents are not allowing me, or my fiance is not allowing me, and there's an approval, you know what, my parents are saying that I can definitely work, but only if my in-laws allow me. I think this is an absolutely nuisance. It doesn't make
Yes,
sense
it
at all.
is at all.
Yeah, and it is not only happening just in India, it is happening globally as well. There are various sectors
Everywhere.
of the society where people are suffering, females are suffering a lot. And at times I get so disturbed, and I am not at all sorry to say that we are equally responsible when our dreams are crushed.
I agree, because you play an equal part in making sure your dreams don't come true. You accept the
Absolutely.
no. You accept the no that's given to you. You don't have to
Absolutely.
accept the no.
So
But
that is
thank
where we have designed these programs, where till date I've made sure that I promise myself moreover every morning that I have to make a difference at least in one life today, so that she will inspire thousands out there. Because if I can do it, even she can do it. It is that simple. It's just the willingness and the gut feeling that you have to follow.
Yeah. We're so thankful that you found that within you and found that desire and that passion to take so much leadership of your own life without having so much as a mentor. I mean, you outlined in your journey so many struggles that other young women face even before they get a chance to put one foot out in the world, cultural, environmental aspects that diminish and kill and crush a woman's journey before it even gets to blossom and everything. But thank you so much for sharing that inspiring journey. I'm sure our listeners would be very happy. I'm myself inspired just by your journey. So I'm sure in all of that and going through all of that, it would have helped to have a voice, a mature voice, someone above you, someone who's gone through what you've gone through, or someone who would have been able to speak to you, a mentor, so to say, someone to lead you in your journey. And that would lead me to my first question. And it's a very obvious answer, but I would like to ask, do you believe mentors are relevant and important? And how critical do you think they are to a successful career and life?
I think having a mentor is something have made me realize so many loopholes. Like in my entire journey, there were so many loopholes in which there was no one to guide me out there, and I didn't know how to actually find a mentor. So till date, I have a lot of importance towards the same, and there are so many clients whom we are mentoring. There are so many people who are having a successful, good journey when it comes to following the path that has been discussed with the mentor. I don't say that you have to 100% follow what the mentor is asking you to do, but I think the relationship between a mentor and mentee is moreover of a discussion. You need to make
Yes.
sure that you put forth your ideas and your views, your challenges, where you want to reach. That should be very clear. Once all these things are clear, then leave it to the mentor. Have a good discussion that why it is important for together for us to grow, not just me.
Yes.
It is we who should grow together in every obstacles and in overcoming those obstacles, and also following the path towards like what is good for us, what is good for the people, and the vision and mission, of course, of our organization.
Yes. Yes. No, I understand, because I mean, it's a professional relationship, but it can also be a friendship, so to say, where you're guiding each other through life. You can learn from mentee, can learn from mentor, and mentor can learn from mentee. I mean, we all learn from each other in life. What attributes do you think a mentor should aspire to have during a mentorship, just to make the relationship easier, to be able to learn more from their mentor?
The mentee, right? what
Yes, the
uh, what
mentee.
aspirations the top three things that I believe in. First is the willingness to change. If you are stubborn towards, in spite of having a good relationship with the mentor, if you're stubborn towards that, you know what, I'm not just going to follow that person as saying. If the person has given you valid reason, valid why, a person with a why is very wise. And I think if the mentor has very clearly told you that why he's suggesting something or why he's directing you towards something, I think you should follow.
Yeah.
The why should be very strong. The why should be very convincing. So you need to have that willingness to change. The second thing that I firmly believe is discipline. After having a good conversation, after having a good approval amongst each other, there should be a very, very fine discipline towards following whatever has been discussed. If you don't follow the discussion, if you don't follow the path, I think you might face the challenges then. The very third thing is that you have to be very much transparent when it comes to results. If the results have not been achieved, or if you are facing certain kind of challenges because of which you were not confident, I think it goes for a toss.
Yes.
So always believe that you are very much confident when it comes to transparency, because everything can be snatched from us if we are,
Yes.
we are in control with somebody in someone else's hand. But if you're confident enough towards your discipline, towards your willingness to change, I think you're unstoppable then. So that is where I believe that you need to be very confident as well, equally towards whatever task that has been assigned to you.
And after all, it is for the benefit of the mentee as well. So you should be open-minded and ready to understand and ready to be open to whatever your mentee says. So I'll just repeat for my fellow mentees out there. Ms. Manisha says we should listen, be disciplined, and most important, confidence. You need confidence to take on the world. So I understand in mentorships, a lot of the focus is provided and looked on the mentee as they're the person being imparted knowledge on. And a lot of the times it's the mentors taking care of the mentee. But what key roles do you think a mentor should have? What key attributes? Should they necessarily be the top CEO? Should they just be willing to impart knowledge? What kind of attributes should a mentor have for anyone out there who's looking to become a mentor?
I think to become a mentor, you need to have equal amount of patience, having a good listening attitude. If being a leader, being a mentor, if you're not a good listener, I think you don't deserve them. Because in my journey of 8+ years, I've realized that if you are not a good listener, you're not a good leader.
That's very true.
It's so that you are absolutely open when it comes to listening the views, thoughts, challenges of your mentee. And then you decide with a discussion with each other, amongst each other, that, what is good for us, what we can try, what we can take up risk about, what are those things in which we have to grab opportunities. So I think these two aspects are very important to become a mentor. These roles are very important because it is the foundation. When it comes, when I say that you need to be patient, when I say you need to be a good listener, I think all starts from there. And that is the foundation. Those are the roots of a mentor.
And it's important for a mentor to understand that they're leading someone through a journey. So before we go on, I'd like to say, have you enjoyed every single mentorship journey you've been on, or have there been difficulties along the way?
I won't say I enjoyed each and every, but right now I am enjoying. But initially, there were certain challenges that we were facing. There was certain, risk that was involved in the task that we were taking up, in the clientele, cases that we were accepting. But as I said, nothing is impossible. And eventually, it is not just the mentee who is learning. I think being a mentor, even today, I'm learning so many things. When it comes to behavioral aspect, when it comes to strategical planning, when it comes to emotional intelligence. I think it's not everybody's cup of tea to become an entrepreneur. It is not everybody's cup of tea to become a corporate.
Yes.
So not every case that we enjoy, but yes, we learn a lot. I'm being very honest on this.
I'm glad to hear that. So while we're on that topic, how would you say a mentor-mentee relationship progresses through both careers and both stages through life, from beginning to end? Does it ever end? Is there a point where you think as a mentor, you can feel like your mentee doesn't need you anymore? As a mentee, you can feel like maybe I don't need my mentor, or is that relationship continued throughout different stages of life?
I think if you talk about end, I don't think there is an end. Professionally,
Okay.
of course, there might be certain targets that you might have achieved mutually. But if you talk about an end, no, it has become a very strong bond with your client now. So as you can assume as friends, as colleagues, but you are in contact, and that
Yes.
is what matters. Because updating each other, like once in a month or once in
Yes.
6 months, or just connecting face to face or virtually as well. I think that makes the relationship very strong, and that is what matters. So there shouldn't be any end to a relationship of mentor and mentorship. Firstly, secondly, when you say like, what are those key factors that keeps going of a mentor and mentorship? I think the very most important aspect is trust. If you're getting into a relationship of mentor or mentee, you need to have blind trust towards each other.
That's right.
And it should be, the discussions should be absolutely based on each other's benefits. In simple
And
words, I can say that.
yes.
And I believe that only if I have enough sorry, yeah, just continue.
Oh no, it's okay. I was going to
I
agree with
believe
you.
that if you have trust in each other, the relationship is going to be never ending, and that is what
Yes,
matters.
yes, yes.
Having enough
Complete
trust.
transparency, complete honesty from both sides, complete trust as well, because I think being told sometimes it's not always positive feedback, it's also negative feedback. So you need to trust that even when you're getting negative feedback or being told that you're not necessarily doing the right thing, you need to be able to listen and trust that information and trust that the intentions are great behind it. Moving on to our next
Absolutely.
question. I just wanted to ask, do you think that there are any comparisons between traditional mentoring and modern day mentoring, especially since the workplace has changed so much, technology has opened the world up to so many people. Your mentor can be in the USA while you're in India. It's much easier to travel to different universities. So the global mentorship has increased, as we can say. What do you think the comparisons are?
I think there's a huge difference when it comes to previous technology and today modern age mentorship, because things have become easy, but life is not.
Sure.
Things have become very easy. Just sitting over here today, you are internationally sitting in Ghana, right? I am
Yes.
so easily connecting with you. Like it's as
Very
if
true.
Lisa is sitting in front of me, right? So things have become easy. It's just one click away, as you know, instant gratification, that the world that we are living in. But life has become equally or
Different.
more difficult for people, because the more easier technology has become, the more difficulties we are facing when it comes to taking up decisions for ourselves. Connecting with people has become at times difficult because we start becoming underconfident. So I think the very most important part is that in modern age mentoring, you need to have that required confidence when it comes to e-meeting or face-to-face meetings, offline meetings. You need to have that, because it's the basic. We at Dreamant India as well, we've always focused on confidence. We think people are highly talented, they are full of knowledge and information, but when it comes to putting forth your ideas in front of a panel of directors or the seniors, juniors out there, they miss out. They
Yes.
start overthinking or they become underconfident. So that is where I think we are losing out on. And let's not do that again and again. And let's start working on our thinking process. Thinking process, because we're already bombarded and loaded with a lot of knowledge and information. And fortunately, every person is talented in some or the other thing. It's just that some of the people have not recognized that, and few of the people have definitely recognized recognized, but they have not equally taken that effort or that risk to take action towards it.
How would you encourage the young women listening and watching to become more confident and be able to seize the day and tackle what they would like to tackle?
If you really want to transform your life, ask yourself what you want out from your life. Ask yourself and take the complete ownership of that answer. In simple words, I can say that honestly, because in so many webinars and so many workshops, it's been more than plus 8 years, I've realized that decisions of females are based on someone else's approval.
That's very true.
And that is crushing dreams of so many females out there. And it feels so sad that in spite of giving so much, and there are so many females out there who are doing incredibly great when it comes to sports, when it comes to politics, when it comes to entrepreneurship. But I don't think that is enough. We need more and more sports women out there, politicians out there, entrepreneurs out there, best of the corporates out there. Why are we not taking a stand for ourselves? So to all the young girls out there, if you really want to prove yourself, if you really want to make a mark in this world, big world out there, you have to start taking stand. You have to start taking decisions towards yourself, towards your life. Live for yourself. Start becoming like, selflessly start just thinking about you. That why am I thinking of someone else? Why am I comparing my life with someone else? My journey is different. Her journey is different. His journey is different. His challenges are different. My challenges are different. But am I really having that gut feeling that I really want to do something on my own? If you have a yes, start taking ownership of every action and decisions that you take for yourself.
Yes.
I think that slowly and gradually you are going to be an unstoppable female out there. And that is what we want to achieve, right?
That is what we want to achieve. And at the end of the day, I think you want to be able to look back on your life as a woman and say that everything you did, everything you achieved, the highlights, the failures were of your own decision. I can't imagine what it feels like to have lived for 70 years and realize that you didn't do anything that you wanted to do. You were so smart, so courageous. You could sing, you could dance, you could do anything in this world, but you didn't because of all the negative pressures that are put on women. Thank you so much for that.
Absolutely.
Just one last thing on mentorship. Are there any all positive side effects come from mentorship, but are there any negative side effects of a mentorship-mentee journey?
Honestly speaking, it all depends upon the situation. It all depends upon the results that we are getting out from this relationship. Yes. So there are instances where at times the suggestions, the directions that mentor has given might go the other way. There are at times situations that come up, but I think it's a two-way journey. It's not a journey of one person.
Yes.
It's a journey of two people altogether. And that is where when I say, absolutely. And when I say that it's a two people's journey, I think, as I discussed, the trust factor is very important. We together have to give it a try once again. It's not just I have to give it a try. It's you and me together have to give it a try once again. And I think that is important. And if being a mentee, I've become very stubborn and I try to blame again and again, I think there is something missing out in me as well. Yes, so you have to give a few chances to yourself and to your mentor as well. And then take up a decision, whether it's a positive experience or it's a negative experience.
You mentioned that young women today need to seize the day and need to take ownership of their life. And the platform Women in Finance Investment Network is one of those platforms of young women trying to seize the day. One of our mandates is to bridge the generational gap between women in finance in the industry. Do you think mentorship is one of the ways we'll be able to bridge that gap?
Absolutely. Without any doubt, I think we need to start working towards who can guide me, who can work with me, because it is never, after a certain period of time, it is never like, it's my alone journey. If you are into a relationship, be it a personal relationship, a professional relationship, a family relationship, it's a journey of two people. It's not of your alone of yours. So I think, moreover, I think, you should start accepting challenges, moreover, and also believe that whatever actions I take up, or whatever relationship, strong, trustworthy, loyal relationship that I have with my mentee or mentor, I have to give it a chance to myself and make sure that this is what I want to achieve, and this is what is absolutely transparent from my side. So, as per that, I think this relationship can definitely bridge a gap, and it is going to help a lot of females out there.
I think so too, because I think one of the key reasons that's one of our mandates is within the corporate space in the finance industry, there seems to be not necessarily a misunderstanding, but what fills that gap is the unknown between the two very stark different generations. Ladies,
Absolutely.
20 years, 30 years, who are now scaling the heights, don't really understand the young women that are coming up here. And unfortunately, it brings about this generational gap and brings about a very difficult work environment where we could all just work together, and make changes for other young women who can now take our places as we grow up as well. But I'd like to ask for myself and anyone listening who's wondering the same thing, how can I find myself a mentor? How do I identify a mentor? How do I decide this person can lead me to where I need to go?
Initially, Lisa, I believe that initially it's going to be a trial and error. You have to give yourself a few chances. You cannot just directly look at someone's amount of degrees or behavioral aspect or the kind of success someone has achieved and decide that, what, he or she is the right person.
Yes.
You have to have a few trial and errors. You have to accept and be open towards it. As soon as you start accepting it, I think things become a bit simple and easier in your mind, because there isn't any load onto your mind that, what, oh my God, I have to have the right person for me. There is no right person, but yes, eventually, when you start building a few relationships, you realize that the bond that you're sharing with several people, which bond is the strongest? Which person is making you the most comfortable? Like, is there a certain kind of comfort that you guys are sharing? Is there certain kind of transparency and trust that is getting built every day? Is it growing? Is it growing, or is it diminishing? So I think it's trial and errors, and it is not just one particular aspect that just looking at someone or looking at somebody's amount of degrees, I can say that he or she is the right person. It will take some time.
I think I'll speak for myself and on behalf of a lot of people that I would have loved to have you as an opportunity to be my mentor. You seem very worldly. You've had a lot of experience in life. So I'd just like to thank you for that. Thank you for having the courage to take the steps that you took. If you didn't have what you had so young in life, you wouldn't be able to be here speaking to us. And a lot of us need someone like you to be able to speak for us and help us along this life journey. So I just, as a young woman, like to thank you for that first. And as we wrap up,
thank you so much.
Yes,
it means a lot.
Very inspirational. I'm feeling very inspired. Before we wrap up, I just wanted to ask, is there anything you'd like to say to the young women and men who are watching this on mentorship and the art of mentoring?
I think please don't be too much heavy on yourself when it comes to challenges, when it comes to struggle and obstacles. You and me, we are equally facing the same amount of challenges and struggle. So never ever assume that, oh, her life or his life is so easy. oh, his parents have given her or him so much, and just because of that, his life is very easy. No. Rich, poor, middle class, all these aspects is being quoted by society out there. But when you get into deep into somebody's life, when you try to understand what the front person is going through, you realize, you know what, my life is much better.
Yes.
My life is much better. And I've seen the richest of the people, I've seen the poorest of the people that we have tagged as per, but I don't believe in this concept of rich and poor, because I think everyone is going through some or the other stuff in their life, and nobody's life is easy as such. And don't expect an easy life. Have a life full of spices and ingredients out there.
Yes.
Because that
yes,
is fun.
Yes.
That's what fun is. And you can cry, you can laugh, you can explore, you can grab opportunities, you can believe in growing, you can believe in making strong relationships, but don't stop. Don't stop. Sleep for a while. Sleep for more hours if you want to, but don't stop. Eat well and have that energy in you, have that enthusiasm in you, in spite of so-called this concept of failing. Because failing, as for me, is learning. We were into a miserable debt of, I won't like to disclose that amount, but
yes.
so miserable debt. But I can proudly say today, just because of the kind of patience that we had, the kind of actions that we had back to back taken, in spite of having a bad morning and a bad night and a bad experience out there, we always made sure that we get up. So I would suggest, I won't request to you anymore, I won't urge to you anymore. I would suggest and advise to all the people out there, get up and get going. Get up and get going. That's it. Because everyone, as I said, is going through some or the other thing, and it's not just you alone. Every entrepreneur, every corporate, every person. When I say every person, youngsters, old people, middle-aged people, the infants out there, even they have some or the other challenges.
Yes,
so
that's
all
right.
the people, everyone is going through some or the other thing, and just have a good time with yourself and accept things the way they are coming, and believe in overcoming the challenges and learning from it.
Thank you so much. As Ms. Manisha has showed that life is what you make it. It is up to you, your decisions. Believe in yourself, most importantly. She would not be here if she did not believe in herself. It took a lot of courage, belief, and self-love, most importantly, for her to get to where she is today. And we're so thankful for you to join us, for joining us, Ms. Manisha Bhatti. I will end it here. On behalf of the Women in Finance and Investment Network, I would like to thank you all for listening and watching. A very special thank you to Ms. Manisha for imparting all the knowledge that she has today. This will be available on our website, and for any more questions and queries on what WIFIN is, it will be available on our website. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you so much, Lisa and Dikshita. You guys are doing a commendable job. So to everyone out there, always remember that if we really want to make the best out from our life, we have to give 100%, and we have to have that level of patience and enthusiasm to live to the fullest and just make our life. Nobody's going to give it to you ready-made. And Lisa and Dikshita, you guys are doing a commendable job. Thank you so much for coming up with WIFIN. And always remember that I'm just one call away to help you guys, to work with you guys, to grow with you guys. And to all the clientele base of WIFIN, please be in contact. And as I said, we are just one call away. And stay strong, stay fit, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time.
Thank you very much. I think